tonight. And I'm recording, which is always a good thing. So I'm always happy when I remember that. So welcome, everybody. I'm so excited to welcome Mackenzie and Lex tonight. They are the creators of this gorgeous deck, Illuminate. It is absolutely stunning. And I thought to ask them to come on to talk to us because I was like, I want to know about everything, about where the idea came from, the obstacles that they encountered, how they use the cards. I want to know it all. And I thought, well, I bet other people will too. So, having said that, welcome, Mackenzie. Welcome, Lex. So let's maybe just we'll start. And Mackenzie is a certified life coach, and Lex is also a life coach and an artist. And so how did you two, well, first of all, how did you meet?
Yes. Well, thank you everybody for having us. We're so excited to play and have fun conversations with you tonight. We met divinely through Google. So I was in San Diego at the time. Lex lived in San Diego and she was looking for a life coach. This was probably, I think, 4 years ago. I was thinking about it. And yeah, my story on my website resonated with her. So she reached out and weirdly enough, I was really sick at the time. I was actually like in the hospital. And so I remember being like, oh no, this person that seems ideal for me. I'm going to have to reach out and reschedule with them. And I hope they're patient. And because we had to postpone a couple weeks. So we met and we clicked right away. And so we ended up working together for 6 months, I think. And then she
Nice,
moved
yeah.
to Denver. So that was like the start of our relationship. I was her coach about 4 years ago. And then of course, she's amazing. You'll see her light. So we just stayed in touch. And yeah, that is our origin story before Illuminate comes into things.
That's very cool.
Yeah, shout out SEO. Google SEO
Yeah.
really nailed it.
It was meant to happen.
There was.
So where did the idea come from to create a deck?
So Lex was over in Denver by this time, and we were just sort of like sometimes reconnecting. And I have a mantra deck that's just super small, super simple. I created it like 6 years ago or something, and people really love it and they use it. I think Shelly has one of the decks. Very simple.
There it
Um,
is.
but
Oh,
I use Oracle decks every single day. I love Oracle decks so much. And in my coaching, probably like half my clients are very spiritual, very woo woo. I'm also spiritual and woo woo. And then half my clients are not so much. They're more like logical or they connect in different ways. And so I just kept having this thing come up of like, I want to create something that's a tool as valuable as this, but will resonate with everyone no matter where they're at. Because I know some of my friends would, be like, let's pull cards for the full moon or something. And the witches and the angels would never resonate with them, or they would sort of freaked out by it or that sort of thing. And so I wanted to create something that was accessible to everyone for them to have a tool like this. So the idea popped up and then I was like, that's way too much. That seems like a lot of work. And so I just kept trying to push it down and down. And then I moved to Mexico for a little bit. And when I was there, I was like, now is the time. So that's when I started writing. And yeah, I would just write about different things lessons that I felt like were valuable for me, reminders that I wanted my clients to have. I would like be in session and I would just take notes as far as like what they wanted to implement and things like that. So I just started writing it and it just turned into this bigger project and I could not get Lex out of my head. So at this time we weren't like super, talking all the time. And so I reached out and I was like, would you be interested in this? I have no idea what the scope of this project is going to be, but I cannot do it without you. She was the only person I could think of doing it with. So that's that's how it came to be.
That's very cool. And so, oh my God, I just have so many questions. What I love about the deck is the accessibility, like you said, because it appeals to everybody. When I use it, people are automatically they gravitate towards that. If I did an event where I had different decks out, they all wanted your deck. So,
oh.
and the messages are universal and they're gentle, but not sugary. So yeah, so I appreciate that. So okay, so you started writing this, and then Lex, were you like, Let's go. Like,
Yeah, I remember Mackenzie reaching out to me, and I was in sort of like a really transitional time in my life. I was actually about to transition to being a coach more seriously than I had in the past. And I was almost at this point where I was gonna let design go. I was doing a lot of web design and brand design. That was sort of the scope of like my career at that point. And I was feeling a lot of resentment towards it. And so when she asked me, I remember being like, I don't know if that's what I want to do. And we didn't know what it was going to entail. I remember talking about it, and we had like, I mean, first of all, neither of us had ever done anything like this before. I had never created a product before. And I'm certainly the type of person that's like, let's just see. Like, let's just we'll figure it out as we go. And we definitely did. But but I do remember having a lot of hesitation of being like, I really want to do this, but I don't know if this is in line with my like life anymore. And I had to sit with it for a bit to be like, does this feel good? And it felt so different than what I had been doing in my other work of like web design and brand design and that sort of thing. And I could see the vision of like my clients having the deck, and I was like, that was my guiding light, where I was finally like, all
uh,
right, you know what, this makes a lot of sense in so many ways. So yeah, that was like why I ended up saying, I mean, aside from Mackenzie being incredible, that was also a big reason why I said yeah.
love it. It was in line
Yeah,
with your vision. Yeah.
for
So
sure.
how did you decide on what the illustrations would look like? Because I would imagine that is a huge challenge, right? I mean, it could go 10,000 different ways.
10,000 different ways. You know what's funny is like it sort of just happened. I feel like we were, as a designer, my process is typically like, let's create a mood board, like, let's have a direction. And it's funny because our original inspiration was Starseed. That was a big inspiration. That was both of our favorite decks, ironically and very coincidentally. Um, and so we started to go in that. I remember like making mood boards in that direction. And then it just didn't feel like that was what was coming through. Like, I remember it felt really forced, and it felt so similar. Like they had sort of nailed that. I felt like they had really nailed that niche and that design. And though that was a big inspiration, it wasn't necessarily our path. And I don't even I remember making the first couple cards and just playing. Like I literally was
Mm,
just like, let's just see. And then it just evolved. Like from that point forward,
cool.
it became sort of like a how far can we take this? And I remember sending some of the cards to Mackenzie, and she was just like, why do these keep getting better and better and better and better and better?
Very cool. I'm going to show some of the cards so people can see. I love the color palette. You know, it's very gentle, but it's not pastel-y. Um,
Mm,
very earthy, which I love.
Keep pulling that
And
one every day.
so and what's the medium? Like what is that
yeah.
the right question? I don't even know what I'm
That's the
asking.
right question. Yeah. So the medium is, I was trying to find the first card that I actually drew, but I don't know if I can find it. The medium is iPad Procreate. So basically, the process became finding photos as the inspiration and then recreating them in this like I just guess I created it as I went. Like I created this way to redraw these photos, which if you look really closely, they're color blocked. And I mean,
Yeah.
it was
Hmm. My
through, yeah, like
canvas.
the iPad has a pen.
Mhm.
And so I started creating this like process, which it's hard to explain. I guess I was just like sort of like really, I would zoom in like really tight on the photo and then color block the entire thing. Um, and some of the cards would take me, I mean, the eye took me like 25 hours to do.
Wow.
So I ended up
Oh my
having a
gosh.
process in which, yeah, this is the eye.
Yeah, that's
Um,
beautiful.
I ended up having a process in which at the end of the drawing, I would do certain layering effects that created this, which is why the cards all look so consistent. Which, if these were just like all photographs, they wouldn't fit together because photographs are taken at different lights and contrasts and temperatures and white balances, etc. So I somehow found a way to make them all look connected to some degree. And then we really were inspired by making the deck mostly geared towards women. And so if you look in the deck, it's mostly women and or like scenery, but for the most
Mhm.
part, that was a big inspiration. So, yeah, it was a learning process for me as the artist. And like,
Right.
it was funny because I remember being in it and being like, this is just a living, breathing process at this point. Like, I don't know how else to describe it, which
Right.
I feel
Yeah.
like really alludes to the artist's, yeah, expression to some degree, which I'm grateful it comes through that way.
Mm-hmm. Oh. And so Mackenzie, you were writing this. Were doing this at the same time? Did you have everything written and handed over to her?
Yeah, this is so fun to look back on this. I'm like, wait, how the heck did we do that? I don't know. We were rolling with it. I was also our deadline was my wedding, is what we were shooting for my honeymoon is when I wanted to print it, which is actually an awful idea, but we did it. But yeah, I think the other reason that we work so well is because like Lex has worked with me, so she understands like my coaching and my style and what I'm trying to get through with my messages. So I think I had like 20 written by the time I reached out to her to get started.
Mm.
And then as the art came through, then I started to build. It was like very back and forth as far as like here's my messages, and then she would take the messages and turn them in. But then I would also like create the next messages based off of the art and what
Mm.
too.
Hmm.
So it was very like back and forth almost until the end, like our last few cards, the completion of it. So
How long did the process take?
2 years,
Wow.
2 years from when I first started writing, and then it took Lex with the art, what,
9 months.
9 months?
Yeah, I think something like that. We kicked off the art in January of last year and we went until September. I think I finished the last card in September and then we got to the box.
Okay, let's talk about the
The
box.
The box. Yeah, this stretched me as a designer in a lot of ways. So we worked with a company overseas and they sent us the box layout, which is just a bunch of puzzle pieces in Chinese. And I remember getting the files and being like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Oh,
And so at the time, I was very much living in two different places. I was home. I was spending a lot of time in my home state last year, and they sent us a bunch of samples, which was awesome. And so when we got this box, we got a sample of it, and Mackenzie and I both were like, "That's the one. Like that's an obvious."
mm,
I was having my partner deconstruct the box back at our place because I didn't know how the pieces fit together. And so I'm like asking him, I'm like, okay, sending him pictures of of the template and being like, do you think this goes here? And like we're trying to navigate that, but all that to say, we had a completely different box concept when we first started. It actually was going to be a card. We were going to use a card as one of the like the picture on the box, and we ended up deciding against that because it felt like it would outdate itself, and we felt like it would just become, I don't know, something on a shelf that would become like a trendy thing, but maybe not be timeless. And so I don't
mm.
fully remember how the vision came through with being like the gold just I think we kept seeing the gold in the samples and we were like the gold is so cool. And they
Mhm.
sent us one card with white and gold like the cards are and I remember just like I kept like being pulled towards it and I was like I just love that look. Like how can we
Mhm.
do that? So,
It is.
yeah.
It's very captivating. That's what I see when I put the deck out and people are just automatically they want that, that card. So, um,
Yeah.
so what about this couldn't have been so easy. I imagine there must have been some obstacles besides getting everything written in Chinese. Did you shop around for printers? Was that challenging?
Yeah. So you were like, here's some things that we'll probably be talking about. And I was like, oh, let me write about some of the challenges we had. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like we did
No.
not know what we were getting ourselves into either of us. And I'm so grateful for Lex for hanging in there. And I was like, I don't know if it's better for me to like give you guidance of what I think that I want, but I don't know that I feel like you would do better just running with what, like, I trust you to run with everything. So she really did not have any direction from me. I was just like, have at it, which clearly worked for everybody. Um, but just the scope of the project and how long it took was so much more than we thought it would be. We had like set a goal of, what was it, trying to get 2 to 3 cards done per week to keep us on track. Sometimes that would change depending on what was going on, but that was like our goal. And like the week of the eye, it was probably just the one card. So we were like trying to keep on pace with things. Again, I have no idea why I decided my wedding was a good I was like, oh, well, if we get it in with the printer by the time we get back, you know, then we'll be ready to go sales, which also didn't happen. Um,
Mm.
but just the timing and the scope of the project. And then I felt like I ran into the problem of wanting to make sure that each message was like completely different than the other like it had to be different message.
Mm-hmm.
With my style of coaching, I don't tell people what to do. I help them find their own answers. So it was also challenging to like say that this is the message and I want it to resonate with like every single person, no matter what they're going through, and feel like that they can resonate with it in some capacity. And my other big vision for creating this was that life coaching is very forward focused, right? So it's like always taking action from receiving the message coming through. And so, you know, I've worked with some decks that it's like, oh, that's like a really nice message. And what do I do with it? And then I put my card down and I forget about it. So I want
Right. Yep.
to make them feel actionable and make them feel like, okay, now I know what to do with this information that's coming through. So there's prompts that I put, there's 3 questions for every single card. So just coming up with those and making sure that they were different enough was challenging for me, or I would go back and I'd be like, oh, this message is too close to that one. How do I make it different? And then editing it, both of us had looked at it. Like I think it was a 150-page document or something by the time we were done. And we had just read through it so many times ourselves and still finding errors. So we ended up hiring an editor that was super helpful. I'm glad we invested in that. But there was
Mm.
other things with the process that I did not think about ever, like an ISBN and a barcode and get that. Never even thought about that.
Mhm.
So that finding a reliable printer, that we heard a lot of horror stories when we were just getting into conversations with people and learning who they use for printers. And we actually took a master class from this woman who helped us with a lot of the items that maybe we hadn't thought about. And I forget how it worked, Lex, but she ordered like 500 decks and they were wrong.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
something. So I don't think she hired an editor. And so there was like a misprint of sorts that happened. Or no, I remember what happened. It was the color index, like the color profile wasn't how they were designed. And so when she got them, like they all looked different or something like that had happened where it was like things you actually don't know to look for or potentially can't prepare for because when we ordered the decks, there was no trial run. Like it was 500 and you're getting 500 decks. Like if it's wrong, you have 500 wrong decks. So
Wow. Okay.
yeah, I
So there was
remember
like no sample deck. There was no,
Nope.
no, no
that's
sample deck.
terrifying. Wow.
Yes. Sleeping was hard when we
Yeah.
were in the process of waiting.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
So
Oh.
just like those little things that we did not think of, and then hearing horror stories about printers and just wanting to make sure. And I had just reached out to a ton and got samples, and then we decided our printer based on the quality of the samples was
Mm,
essentially in their communication with us. So
mm,
um that and then just the like I in my head I was like, okay, it'll be printed during my honeymoon. I'll come back in October. We'll get started with sales. And we already had done pre-sales. So there was like, I don't know, close to 100 people that had already ordered before we got the decks that were waiting and being so patient. And it was, we didn't get them until January. So just like being at the printer and the process and the back and forth took forever. So all of that was just very unexpected. And now we're at the point where our online sales are amazing and great. And I'm like, I don't know how to get into stores. So we're figuring that out. We actually got into a store today here in Oceanside, California, but I'm like, that's a whole new ball game that we're just learning as we go, honestly.
Yeah.
Playing and learning.
Excellent. Yep. Did you oh, I just lost my question. Oh, I'll figure it out. Did you consider doing like a Kickstarter or going through traditional publishing?
I talked to you, Patty.
Yes, you did.
Yeah. So
Yes,
that
we
I was
talked
just,
about the traditional route. Yeah.
I just tried to get as much information from other people as possible to decide. And I think my final decision was like, I feel like we have the community already to like, I don't know, to support us and to back us. So we just did pre-sales through our own website, which maybe in hindsight is not like Kickstarter maybe would have done better, but we actually did really good on pre-sales and it was like our community and I don't know, it created like a really good connection from the beginning because they were bought in, they were like wondering when things were going to happen. And
right. And I'm sure there was like that level of trust that made it a little easier, I would imagine. So yeah, cool. So if anybody has any questions too, feel free to jump in. But how do you envision people using this deck?
Do you want to go, Lex?
Yeah, I mean, I think a big part for me is that I don't pull Oracle every day. I only really pull it when I feel intuitively called. Like there's something that I'm not looking at, or there's some message that I'm like trying like not receiving, and it's almost always just so freaking spot on that I love that practice. And so specifically like with my clients, that's been something I've been encouraging them to do too, is like to pull when they feel like they're just a little stuck and they feel like they need like that extra support, but they don't necessarily need to talk to someone about it, and to encourage them to look within, right? Like I think so often we look without, and though it is a tool that is external of us, the entire point of it is to be an internal navigation tool. And so it's encouraging people to take like empowered action of like, okay, I personally was someone who always would like poll my entire community when I needed to make a decision. And so Oracle really helped me start to like lean out of that, of being like, okay, how can I make my own decisions based on what is coming up? And even though it's a tool that I use, it's not a crutch. So that's how I see a lot of people using it, to really find and illuminate, to use the word, like those internal blocks that are sometimes just a little bit harder to see, but I think Mackenzie did such an incredible job with making it actionable and making it a message that is, yes, universal, but can if something comes up when you read it, trust that. Like that's just my guidance when I'm telling anyone about the deck.
And do you have a particular card, both of you, that you like? Like do you have like a card that's your card, or
Of course we do. Mackenzie, if you have yours first.
The eye is mine. It's just like, you look at it.
that is such a beautiful card.
And I can tell you actually a little bit about the eye so you can
Woo.
understand the story. Mine's Ride the Wave. I'm an ocean girl at heart, so this one really does it for me.
Nice.
So the eye specifically, which I'm just like so glad that this is the story, because so last year my sister was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer, and she's doing well now. But at the time that we found out, I was drawing the eye. And I remember this so well because I was just like so freaking angry at life and like just going through such a hard time. And I was sitting in the airport flying back to Denver from home in the middle of this eye being like, why did I choose the hardest card ever to draw? Like, I'm just like so mad. And I was just mad at everything at that point. And I remember like I kept zooming out and like assessing and being like, how long is this really going to take me? And it started to become sort of like a game of like, you know what? Actually, this is what else would I be doing? Like, this is so perfect. And yeah, I think the message is hilarious because it's all about curiosity. And like, and in that moment I remember drawing it and being like, how can I be curious to, yeah, things in life that happen, and um it's not perfect, and that's sort of the point, especially when you're creating something. So when everyone started being like, that's my favorite card, that's my favorite card, it just felt like such a nod to from the universe of like, this is just part
Mm.
of your process. And yeah,
Aw.
I feel really grateful that that was sort of my experience in the process of it.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh.
Yeah.
And ride the wave. Tell us, why does that speak to you?
There's this like level of nostalgia. I feel like it's an emotion. I coach on emotions. That's a big piece of my coaching practice, and nostalgia is something that comes up a lot for me. I've moved a lot, and I used to live in San Diego, and that card really calls that part of me forward of like, yeah, that feeling when the sun is setting and you're in the water. And for me, that's I don't know how else to describe it, but it's like totally like my place of just being so content with life and
Mm.
at peace. And so, yeah, for me, I feel like that card just does it for me. It reminds me that it's the message is all about like riding the waves of life, the ups and downs. And if that isn't the total ode of my life, like then nothing else is. Just feels
Nice.
really, really spot on for me.
Mm. I was doing a reading for somebody the other day, did a full tarot reading, and I was like, the message that is the overarching message for you is just kind of go with the flow. Like stuff is going to happen and go with it. And then I was like, all right. And I always wrap up with one oracle card, and that was the one I pulled for her. And I was like, there you go. There, that is just confirmation. So
And
I love that card too. Oh.
Mhm.
So can we pull some cards, do
I
you
would love
think?
to.
Okay. All
Mhm.
right. So who would like a card?
I'd love one.
Terry. Excellent. Are you, oh, sorry, Mackenzie, are you going to
Oh,
do
I
this?
don't care. Do you
Oh,
want to or do you want me to? I don't know
they
how this
hear from
works.
me all the time, so
Oh, okay, great.
sorry.
Mackenzie's up.
I
Sorry.
got you, Terry. We're on
So
it.
Patty, how did
Yes,
you like meet Mackenzie?
that's a great question. So Shelly and I are, Shelly.
Yeah.
Shelly introduced me to Mackenzie
Oh,
because
okay.
she knew that she was doing this, and she said maybe we should have a conversation. And I said, "Yep, well, let's have a conversation." And I
Mhm.
was so impressed because I do talk to a lot of people, that are like, I want to make a card deck, and they have no clue, like they don't know what they want to do, how to start. It's more of a just a pipe dream. But the minute I started talking to Mackenzie, I was like, holy shit, this is gonna be cool. This is gonna be really something. So I was
Mhm.
so when she sent me an email saying the deck is ready, I was like, oh my God, like this is wild. Mhm.
Thank
I wasn't
you.
sure if you saw the cards first and then met her through that, or met her
Yeah.
first and then saw the cards.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yes. Okay. Ooh, Terry. Chase adventure, explore new horizons. So I don't know
Oh,
Ooh.
if you guys do you normally do the actual, like, do you read through the booklet or
It's your
whatever?
cards, whatever
Okay.
you want to do.
I will, just so you can get a taste of the reading and how the coaching plays into the deck as well. So Chase adventure. When I pull this one, I'm like, great, this is a good day. So pulling this card is a sign it's time to leave behind the mundane for excitement and adventure. This doesn't have to mean it's time to pack your bags and go on a trip overseas, although it could. It means it's time to try new things, get out of your comfort zone, and experience the thrill that comes from exploring the unknown. Experiences like this revitalize us and help us see what's most important in life. It's time to step away from our daily norms and take a step towards new horizons. Sign up for the class, explore a new trail, take on the project, or actually book the trip. It's time for the adventure you've been putting on hold. Go see what's out there. And then there's self-reflection and a mantra. So what have been your favorite memories of exploration adventure? How are you feeling called to explore new horizons? What action can you take today to try or explore something new? Mantra, I break away from the mundane and explore the unknown. Adventure and excitement are calling to me.
Oh, that's awesome.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah.
Where are you going,
Mm.
Terry?
I need to go somewhere.
Tell us about your adventure.
Yeah. Very nice. Who would like one?
I'll take a card.
Yay. Okay. Sue is up.
Lex, do you have your card? Do you want to do one?
Yeah, I can do one for sure.
Excellent. This is so fun.
Mhm.
How often do you get your cards read by the creator?
You guys got some good cards today. You got follow the fun. Life is
Woo!
meant to be enjoyed. All right, let's dive in. I'm so grateful this is in alphabetical order every time.
Yes. Thank you, ladies. That was a brilliant part of the book. I
Yeah.
can't tell you how many other Oracle decks I have, and
Yeah.
I'm flipping through and I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know where this is. I'm making it up. So
Yeah.
Drives me crazy. Okay. It's easy to get swept away by the demands of everyday life, allowing work stress to take over, worrying about the future or finances, and taking ourselves far too seriously. At the end of our time on this earth, we aren't going to wish we had worked harder or made more money. We are going to wish we had experienced more, laughed more, and spent more time with loved ones. This card serves as a reminder to pause and get back to what matters most. Perspective is everything, and we can always reach for what helps us feel good. Yes, even as adults, we are allowed to have fun. What is fun for you may be different than what is fun for another person. How are you being called to have more fun in your life? Fun and feeling good is always the answer. Your life is meant to be enjoyed, so go on and enjoy it. Your reflection questions. In what ways are you taking yourself or your life too seriously? How is taking your life too seriously impacting you? How are you being called to have more fun? And what is one fun thing you can do today? And your mantra is fun and feeling good is always the answer. I let go of what's not serving me and let myself enjoy this one beautiful life of mine.
Very nice. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm excited. We're gonna have fun.
Where are we going, Patty?
Exactly. I think you, me,
Seriously.
and Terry are going on a road trip.
Let's go.
Yes.
I'm down. So what is the price of your deck?
44.44.
That's an auspicious number.
How many cards are in the deck?
44.
44.
That's kind of a standard, isn't it, Patty?
Yeah.
44.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. 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 Who else would like a card?
I'll take a card.
Karen's up.
Perfect. Hi, Karen. See what we got. Now I'm like, I hope no one gets one that's not super fun.
Get what you need.
Okay. Karen, seek inspiration. Pay attention to what ignites passion. I know that my lighting's really good, but I love this artwork too. Okay, seek inspiration. Pay attention to what ignites passion. Okay, some things drain us, some things fill us up, and some things ignite a light inside of us. You might find yourself disconnected from this spark as you navigate your daily routines, yet it's an experience that everyone's had. Pulling this card is a reminder to either reconnect with those things that lit you up or do more of it more often. What inspires us gives us clues to our mission and purpose. Doing more of what inspires us will lead us to discovering more and more about ourselves. what we want in life, and ultimately living a life of fulfillment. We're all unique, so fulfillment looks different for each of us. Maybe it's attending a concert, perhaps it's taking a salsa class or a horseback riding class, which was inspired by a client of mine at the time. She was signing up for horseback riding, so I put that in there. Or maybe for you, it's writing or traveling. Spend some time with this card, considering moments in your life you felt that spark, and do your part to go ignite that light again. Self-reflection. What moments have you felt most inspiration in life? What components of that experience did you enjoy the most? How can you ignite that spark again? Mantra. I pay attention to what inspires me. I take action to do more of what ignites the light within.
I
And
feel
now,
like that was meant for you, Karen.
well, I was curious. I was like, my coach self is really curious, the people that have got a card so far, if anyone wants to share like what came up for them, if I'm allowed to ask that, I would love to hear.
Well, I'm just launching a business, and I've been making things for 20 years, and now I'm at the point where I'm starting to send the things out into the universe. But it's funny how I'm focused so much less on selling and getting them out than making more. But the ideas are just coming from everywhere, like constantly new ideas and new techniques that I want to try, and new inspirations, and how to work my energy into sending that energy out for other people to use. So yeah, definitely very, very, very apropos.
Yes.
Thank you.
Beautiful. I love to hear. I would love also to connect with your business and what you're creating and see what you're creating too. So
Yeah, I'll get around to the website eventually. But
hey,
thank
as
you.
long as you're having fun and going with the flow, then you're in the right spot in my
She
mind.
makes beautiful, magical things. So,
Thank you, Karen.
yeah. Dana, do you want a card?
There it is. Absolutely.
Yay.
It's
You
funny
got
because I
it.
have, where is it? Oh, I I don't know why I brought this one. I was like, I have one Oracle card deck. Is this the one that you
Oh,
guys were talking about?
Starseed.
Yeah, that was
Mhm.
my first and only Oracle deck. So I was like, oh, they like this one too.
that's so
Yeah,
funny.
Yeah.
such a good one. It's
I
so good.
actually
Okay,
don't
well,
own that deck, which is really
Really?
funny. Yeah,
Wow.
I know.
This was like my first, even before tarot, I bought this one. I don't know why, but yeah. So I was like, oh, more Oracle cards. I need to get back
Yeah.
into it for sure.
okay, well, this card flew out. It is Restore Balance,
Oh God. Yeah.
and it says adjust to the ever-changing shifts of life. Trying to find the blend of work and play, discipline and flow, giving and receiving feels like a never-ending balancing act. This challenge can often consume our minds with self-judgment and shoulds. I should be working more, spending less, resting more, doing less. It can feel conflicting and confusing. These questions are all there for a good reason, making sure we are living the life we intend to and show up as our best selves. But sometimes these thoughts take us away from the intention, leaving us stressed, overwhelmed, and worried we aren't doing it right. This is a reminder that the balance of life is ever changing, not something we achieve or accomplish, but something that shifts every day. Allow yourself to reflect on what the middle ground looks like for you. Make any adjustments and let the rest go. Balance on the outside starts with balance on the inside. Adjust, trust yourself, and let the rest go. Questions. Are there any shoulds you're ready to release? When do you feel most balanced in life? And what small adjustments can you make today to feel more balance in your internal and external world? I am balanced, I am centered, I take action on any adjustments I need to make and let the rest go.
Makes sense. Funny because I had a baby in January and I'm actually about to go back to work. I'm a flight attendant, so I'm about to go back in July. So yeah, figuring out how that's going to balance out, that makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of like, oh, I should work more hours, but I want to be here with baby and all that good stuff. So wow, that's
Mhm.
awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Something to ponder on for for the
Definitely.
evening
Yeah.
Mhm.
as it goes.
Shelley, you want a card?
Yes, please.
Hey, hey. I want to say I don't know that I've ever pulled a card for you, but I
I
feel
don't
like
think you have.
you're usually pulling them for me. So congratulations to you, Dana, on your baby.
Mhm.
So beautiful. Okay, Shelly, where is she at today? Oh, this is also one of my favorite cards. Move forward. Move forward. Just take the next indicated step. So we'll see what comes up for Shelly. Move forward. This card offers an opportunity to pause and reflect on an area you're feeling stagnant or stuck in. Perhaps you're feeling unsure which direction to take and frozen by the uncertainty of what's to come. Or maybe you know exactly what step to take next, but find yourself procrastinating because of perfectionism or analysis paralysis. There are times where we're meant to pause and wait for clarity to emerge, but there are other times when we know it's time to move. This card invites you to ask yourself how you're being called to move and is your reminder that all you have to do is just take the next indicated step. From studying for your first exam of the semester to making a complete career change, all that's needed in this moment is forward movement. It doesn't have to be grandiose or monumental. Inch by inch, you will get closer and closer to the clarity you're looking for. So take a breath, ready yourself, and move. You don't have to have everything figured out. Taking that one small step will get you further than you have ever been. Self-reflection. How are you feeling called to move forward? In what ways are you holding yourself back from moving forward and why? What is the next indicated step? What is one small step you can take today to move forward? Mantra. I am ready to move forward. I focus on what's in front of me and take the next indicated step.
Well, I'm trying not to take it very literally. Move? Move? Am I supposed to move? That's what I've been holding back on. So I don't know. I'll
That's
be
what I
thinking
was
about that one.
thinking.
I know. I spent literally the last 2 months have been like, okay, universe, I want my cake and eat it too. I want to both move and stay.
Mhm.
So we'll see how that works out.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Lisa, you want a card? All right.
Let's see, Lisa. Hmm. Nourish your soul. This one says, make a commitment to nourish your mind, body, and spirit. Let's see what I turned right to it. Wow, that never happens. In the hustle and bustle of daily life, it's easy to neglect the most important person in your world, yourself. This card reminds you to prioritize self-care as a form of nourishment for your soul. Today, make a commitment to nourish your mind, body, and spirit, whether it's a warm bath, a walk in nature, or a few moments of quiet reflection. Give yourself the gift of self-care and with the intention of reconnecting to yourself. The space within is waiting patiently for you to tune in and fill up. By prioritizing this connection, you will be able to move through your day with more purpose, resilience, and perspective. Nourish this beautiful place within. What self-care practices bring you a sense of deep nourishment? How can you integrate small amounts of self-care into your daily routine? What does your soul need to feel truly nourished today? I create space to reconnect with myself. My soul deserves attention and nourishment. Hmm.
Okay, well, that makes sense, especially for today. I just had like not a minute of anything go right and sitting in traffic and everything took too long and I'm tired. And it every day I say it'll get better and it doesn't. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Mm,
Is there
mhm.
one step that's coming up for you as far as like something you can do just for you?
Um, I know. I think it's really carving out time. Like I had been doing that and then stuff kind of got in the way and I didn't prioritize it. And I really, like today especially, I'm like, what am I doing? I spent my whole day and didn't get anything done for myself. So I just have to put myself back on my schedule and not give in to other people's demands. So
And you're doing it right now, you
Yeah.
know?
yeah.
You're
Mhm.
taking this time, so for yourself.
Yeah, I literally like I almost missed it. I realized like I was late and then I was supposed to be doing something else. I'm like, you're just gonna have to wait. Like I'll be back in an hour. So
Excellent.
Nice. That's awesome.
That's great. Mm. Can I get a card?
Yes, I was wondering.
Yay. I
Uh,
say yay. I don't know. If it's bad, just put it back.
is there a bad card in the deck? Is there any card that like
There's
you're,
never a bad
you're
card,
like,
yes.
I
There's
hope
no
I don't
tower
get
card
that
in the
one.
No
back deck.
yeah. No tower, no
No
10 of
death card.
swords. Mhm.
The only thing is that so my husband pulls them with me every morning too, and it's so funny because he's very emotionally intelligent for a man. Maybe I'm not supposed to say that, but I'll just say that. And
It's
but
safe
if
here. We get it.
if he pulls one that's like about your emotions or tuning in, he'll be like, "Oh, never mind, that wasn't mine." Because one's like the elite card or the action forward card. Like, no, I pulled the wrong card.
Hilarious.
Right, Patty. Oh, you also got follow the fun. I was curious if anyone.
That's right. That's right. Yes.
That's a good card.
Here we go.
Yeah.
All right.
What does
Funny.
that mean for you, Patty?
Message received.
Hmm.
I do need more fun in my life.
Yes.
I've let things get a little too heavy.
Mhm.
Look at her. She's shaking her head. I'm telling you.
You bring
Yep.
it on yourself, Patty. You know this.
I know I do. I know I
You
do.
do. You
I know.
thrive on it.
I know. Drama finds me.
Yes.
So I love it. That's a perfect message for me. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So does anybody have any questions? Any comments? Anything?
So where
I would be
they're selling them?
interested. Oh, go ahead.
Oops.
I'm just asking where they're selling them.
Yeah, let me post in the chat. I actually
Online?
had it ready. I just didn't want to distract us. So I'll post it in the chat. We have our own website, and then we're also building up our Etsy right now. So I'm directing people to our Etsy currently, so that we can do our review. So if you're thinking about buying a deck, we'd appreciate the Etsy. And then if you would be willing to write us a review, that'd be so helpful because it boosts our listing so that we can reach more people. And then there's a little discount code for you guys too.
That's so nice.
Yeah, so we're there. We also have our own website, and then I think are most of you on the East Coast or kind of all over?
East Coast.
Okay.
Yep.
We're in California and Iowa right now, so those are in Denver. I think that we're getting into some Denver stores too. So, if you know of any stores that are like
That would be me.
Oh yeah,
I
you
own a metaphysical store. So if
Okay.
you'd like to email me with some of your,
yeah,
I would
love to.
take a look at it for sure.
Cool. Awesome. I will do that for sure. And then I was just also thinking, it didn't even cross my mind, but we're actually hosting a free workshop next week as well about using an Oracle deck to trust your gut again, is what we're calling it. So I'll post that link in the chat. It's just a totally free 90-minute workshop that we're putting together. And yeah, it's for both again, the spiritual and the people that are new to things, because I just want to make it even more accessible. So I have some people that it's like their very first Oracle deck and they're so nervous about doing it wrong. And I'm like, I just want to use it as an opportunity for them to reconnect with themselves. So we're excited for that too. So I'll post that link in the chat as well. And then, yeah, if you guys, I don't know, we are on social media. So I feel like that's how we stay in communication with a lot of people. So if you guys are there, we'd love to connect with you there.
Excellent. Yeah.
And then let's do the workshop.
Anything else?
I just had a couple quick things, if I could, Patty.
Yeah.
First of all, I would agree with you. I've started using decks at times with my coaching sessions, and they're very this deck is very first of all appealing, and also it also for me like reiterated exactly what the theme was. Like when it was the overarching, okay, so I'll use that. That was totally it. And then I have to ask, is this Sam's mom?
Oh my God, yes. Sue is Sam's mom.
Oh my God.
What?
What?
So
Go. Yeah, go.
this tangled web. So Sam, Shelley knows Sam from Mind Body, and
Oh,
Sam is an amazing artist.
yes,
And
yes,
her, yes,
yes.
and
Such
yes,
a
so
cool, yeah.
Oh, and
Cool in
that's
so
how
many
you
ways.
know, that's how she knew Sam through Mind Body. Yes.
yes,
Yes.
yep,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
mhm,
Oh, yeah.
I just
yep.
put that together when you said you owned a metaphysical store. I'm like, oh my God, I think that's Sam's
Yeah.
mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. She's my girl.
Yeah. Awesome.
It's so funny. Sometimes I forget like how people know each other, and I'm like, wait, how do you know them? Like,
I know. You've started a web,
yeah,
Patty, and it goes, yeah,
a
far and
tangled
wide.
web. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
A beautiful, gorgeous, tangled web.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm. Well, thank you so much, everyone, and Mackenzie and Lex for coming on. We love your deck, and you're inspiring me,
Will
and
you give them my website, my email
I
to
will
look
send
into them?
you.
Yeah.
Yep.
It'll be
Mhm.
nice to carry in the shop. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if anyone's thinking about creating their own deck, we will help you jump through a lot of hoops. Go
For real.
through the
Yeah.
pain that we went through. So feel free to reach out to either of us too.
Excellent. I'll be talking to you. Yes. All right. Well, everybody have a wonderful rest of the week, and
Thanks,
may the
Patty.
craziness calm down, and wishing you all fun and excitement and all that good stuff that was in the cards. So
Thank you,
great
Patty.
Wonderful.
seeing you.
Nice to meet everybody. Have a good night.
Thank
Patty.
you.
Thank
Night.
you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.